cheers to another episode of the Wine Notes Podcast. I'm your guide, AJ Winezettel, on this journey of stories showcasing the people behind the wonderful world of wine, where we dive into conversations ranging from terroir, viticulture, to favorite music, superpowers, and more. Please enjoy this episode of the Wine Notes Podcast. Andy, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the podcast today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, this is going to be fun. We get to hear about Capers Cafe, and we have like 5 blind wines that we're going to go through here. This is going to be interesting.
Blind tasting is always fun. Gets you down to your roots and humbles you, and it's just fun.
It is absolutely fun. I know when I was here about a month and a half ago, we talked about this, and I have to tell you, I've been rattling my brain of like what wines to bring. So hopefully I have a couple that you haven't tasted before, and it should be pretty fun.
I hope so. That's the joy of wine, is it changes year to year, from person to person, winery to winery. So, I look forward to it.
Okay. Well, let's start off with one blind wine, and then we'll get into some story.
Sounds good.
Okay. So this first wine, so when we talked about this before, we said that we're going to just do Oregon Chardonnay.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously we know it's Oregon Chardonnay. And that's like it. We don't know anything else.
That's the parameters.
All right. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow. It's got a full body nose.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep. Yeah. The one thing I will tell you about this wine is I definitely know beyond a shadow of a doubt, you know the winemaker.
Oh, I do.
You know the winemaker.
Okay.
On this one.
Well, that's fun. Now, what winemaker do I know that's possibly doing a side project or something, a private label or personal label or something?
Yeah. I try to give you some hints. So,
right?
Yeah.
Nice mouthfeel.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that full body, almost a little bit of that caramel flavor. It's beautiful. Nice long acid finish. So this is obviously a winery you like and enjoy.
Yes. Yep. Yes. My 2 wines that I brought today, I both enjoy very much. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to give it all away.
This one smells like it's got a little bit of age on it, a few years. Doesn't feel like it's fresh right out of the gate. Wow, and I know the producer. Now that's making me rack my brain.
Oh, I know. I try a little bit. As you kind of contemplate a little bit, I think when we talked about, just bringing up Oregon Chardonnay, Oregon Chardonnay is, kind of making itself known more and more in the Valley.
Absolutely. I think it's if it's not already, it's going to be right behind Pinot Noir. It's going to take over for, as the second largest produced grape in the Valley, and someday might even
dethrone.
Oof. But that's going to take some time, because there are some places that just make beautiful Chardonnays, and they're starting to see some Chardonnay only houses, and it's people are willing to pay for it. People know it, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
And believe it or not, it's ageable.
Oh,
it's so ageable.
Let me see. Last year, Halloween timeframe, I think I had an 03 or an 04 or 05 Oregon Chard, and it was just absolutely mind-blowing. And just to see the color in the glass of that, I was like, oh my goodness.
Years and years ago, I had Oregon Chardonnay, Montanor. It was a 1989 winemaker select, and this was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And I thought this bottle was going to be absolutely shot.
Right.
It was equivalent of drinking a really nice white Burgundy. It was absolutely beautiful, showing fruit, nice long finish, minerality. It was absolutely amazing. So
wow.
And that was, kind of one of those unicorn bottles.
I can only imagine. All right. Do you want one more hint about this wine?
Sure.
The winemaker is Isabelle Mounier.
Isabelle Mounier. Okay, so this isn't Lavinia.
It's not Lavinia. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. I wouldn't. No, that's too obvious.
I was going to say that would give it away, but
right. I mean, I know that you've had Lavinia, so I'm not gonna give you a Lavinia.
Right.
Right.
I'm not sure what other projects she works on.
Well, she has a Lazy River project.
Right.
Right. And this is not Lazy River.
Okay.
Are you ready?
She doesn't do anything with like Elizabeth Chambers or anything?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if she does, but this is not anything with Elizabeth Chambers.
Okay.
All right. So
let's see what it is. I'm stumped on this one.
The first wine is a 2020 Anahana Vineyard from Aubaine.
Aubaine? Excellent.
Yes. So that is Andy Lytle's project.
Mm-hmm. I've had Aubaine before. We've actually sold some at the airport, but not this vineyard site.
Oh, okay. Well,
so,
at least I got something.
Absolutely.
That I didn't have, yeah.
In 2020, so it's still a
baby.
It's still a baby.
Yeah. When I talked to Andy Lytle about this, he was very happy with with this bottling, because he was like, oh, it just drinks like Chablis.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just over the moon about it.
She's an amazing winemaker.
She is.
Love what she does. So
yeah. Well, before we get into the next wine, let's talk about Capers Cafe a little bit.
Okay.
Just how did it even come into existence, and like what is the backstory?
Well, yeah, I grew up with my father pretty much owning a delicatessen pretty much my entire life. Before Capers, it was Anderson's out in Beaverton, kind of by Jesuit High School. And so, the food, wine side of things has pretty much been in our blood. I've been surrounded by it my entire life.
Right.
My father, being born in France, a lot of what we'd do when we'd get together as family members is, we'd either go fishing, we'd, along the way, we'd forage some mushrooms, and then we'd, stop and maybe pick some watercress. And then from that, we'd go home at, 1 or 2 o'clock, and we'd start cooking dinner. And, you'd have to buy a few things to supplement, but
right.
It was a family affair. And then, we'd all sit around the table after dinner and play cards and have an after dinner drink or something like that. So growing up in the food business and being surrounded by it, it was inevitable. In 1991, that's when they got into this place and started it with 12 employees.
Right.
It was just this the front part of this building, and we've grown from there. Started in the airport I joined the company in 95, just as needing some help and jumping into the business. And then after working front of house, back of house, and then managing here and doing caterings, all weekend and everything. So we started in the airport in 2002. That was a fun project. It was a insane undertaking, and we weren't quite ready for the amount of traffic that the airport had to offer. But we got with it real quick, and that's when we making everything from scratch and opening as few cans and boxes as possible and getting good local Northwest products. Every year, as soon as chanterelle mushroom season hits, we go through about 1,200 pounds just in fresh foraged mushrooms to the airport doing,
Wow.
omelets and Caesar salads and on top of burgers, and pretty much, they're everywhere.
Right.
And then, once they're gone pretty much in November when that first frost hits, then we try to find something else, a good local Northwest product. But we live in such a fertile area, it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah. No, that is amazing.
Yeah. So we started in the airport in 2002, and it's been just cranking ever since. So
Wow. So you have locations in the airport. You have this space here, which does catering.
this does catering. We also do wholesale products for the airport. We also kind of support the volume that goes on in the airport with all the products we're making here.
Wow. And you have like a mobile like food truck or something too, right?
We've got one of the largest food trucks in the city. It's a 36-footer kitchen on wheels.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and it's basically to support our catering. So when we go on site somewhere, we're able to cook the food and produce it fresh right on somebody's table. So
Wow.
rather than having to bring it from one location to the other, we're making it to order. So it's fantastic.
Holy cow. Okay, so when did wine like enter into the whole picture?
It's always been in the picture.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
it really started to become a big part in '03 when, we had a bar at our facility there in the airport. And, the demand for good wines in this area is huge. People want local. People want Oregon wines and Washington wines to either enjoy, take back with them, share with other people wherever they're going.
Right.
So we just jumped in on that, and I slowly started from 8 wines by the glass to pre-COVID. We were at 56 wines by the glass.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was crazy, but it was absolutely fun, and that ranged anywhere from $6 a glass to $30 a glass. So, and we rotated our menu pretty quickly on wines. And we offered probably about another 140 wines by the bottle on site that people could take with them. And we were doing demos and tastings for people. And you'd have some regular customers come up and say, "Hey, what are you pouring today?" And we just taste them on a couple things. And
Wow.
next thing you know, they're buying a glass, maybe a bottle to take with them. So,
Very nice.
yeah, people love to talk about wine.
It is such a fantastic little topic. Oh, is there any, do you have any hints on like, buying a bottle at the airport and then like putting it into like a, another container so you can like sip it on an international flight?
No.
No. Okay. Maybe off camera.
Right. You're not supposed to do that part of things, but
Yes. Yeah.
even though people do.
Yeah. No, I've heard stories.
Right.
No, that is cool. I want to talk more, but we got like 5 wines.
Yeah, let's
All right.
do another.
All right. Do you want me to do my second one here?
Let's do this one. Let's try
Okay.
this one.
All right. Now you get to stump me.
Hopefully.
It won't take much to stump me, I'm sure. So as you pour it, it looks, like it definitely has some age onto it. It has that golden hue. So I'm going to go that it's a little bit older just by kind of looking at it right off the bat.
It does have age.
It's beautiful though. Just like, oh, look at that.
This was a wine that we picked up in the airport, again, pre-COVID, and it was a much younger wine at the time. And the first time I tasted this, I was just blown away by it. I absolutely loved what it had to offer. And there was a couple sitting down. They wanted a really nice bottle of wine. This was probably more out of the price point that they were looking for, but I talked them into purchasing this bottle, and they shared it over a meal and had to come flag me down and tell me how much they enjoyed that bottle with the food, and just absolutely loved it. So it's a fun bottle of wine.
That's one of the things I really enjoy about wine is you correlate a bottle to a memory. I mean, you've had so many bottles. I've had quite a few bottles, but like those little memories just stick out so much. And I love that.
Absolutely. That's why it's so important to go out to tasting rooms and go have that experience with whatever winery that is, and then it just helps solidify that bottle into your mind with that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Or do something outrageous when you're sharing it.
Wow. Yeah, no, I'm just sitting here thinking about it and just taking it all in. There's so much to take in about this wine. I mean, yes, you know, just seeing it in the glass, you know, this is a special bottle. On the nose, it's which is it. I have a very difficult time describing a nose, but you get it, you smell it, and you know, even if I was not to see this, I'm like, this is not a young Chardonnay.
It's absolutely older. It's still showing beautiful fruit. It's got a little bit more body to it. It's got some. The acid on the back is just so pretty, so just silky, and just kind of dances.
I would agree. And even with this being a little bit older, I still think this has age to it. I mean, with all that, with that acidity backbone.
Do you want to take a guess at the year?
Mm-hmm. Man, and this is just a shot in the dark. But I'm going to have to guess either like an 08 or an 09.
Not quite that old.
Okay.
It's a 10-year-old. It's 13.
It's a 13. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. I can see that. Ooh, producer. I no clue.
This valley is getting so popular. The state is the amount of wineries here are growing and growing, so it makes this type of thing a lot more difficult.
It does.
So many producers making phenomenal wine. That's part of the hardest part about what I do is when I'm selecting, wineries to feature or pour. There's a lot of great wines to choose from, and just like you, being in the wine industry type for so long,
right?
You make a lot of friends.
Yes,
and you want to represent them all.
Yes, you do.
So,
so I'm thinking, I'm going back to 13 and like who is doing a phenomenal Chard at that point. Cameron comes to mind, Bethel Heights comes to mind, Bergstrom comes to mind. I'm just going with, some of the stables back in that era. But those seem way too obvious.
It's definitely one of the founding families of the valley.
So you're going to say like Adelsheim?
Close.
Eyrie?
Also a good guess.
Oh my goodness. I'm running a blank right now.
Are you ready?
Sure. Oh, I should have. What was I thinking? Good gosh.
Sure. Avalana Chardonnay.
Wow. That is a gorgeous bottle of wine.
It is a gorgeous bottle of wine.
It is. Wow. Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's wow. Yeah, it is amazing to see like where Oregon wine has started and where it's at and kind of where we're going. I mean, with Ponzi itself, I mean, they're entering a brand new chapter of life. And even so with the partnership with the French, and then, Rocco getting a partnership with the Italians. So did Domaine Roy.
Lingua Franca.
I forgot about Lingua Franca off the top of my head, but yeah.
Yeah. And then you have the French, Resonance coming in and, just producing some amazing stuff. So obviously there's something to be said about what's going on here.
There is something. And kind of with that, are there like 2 or 3 producers that come to the top of your head that are, lack of a better term, they're kind of in the underground a little bit, that they're not too popular, but you're like, ooh, they're going to be like rising stars?
Let me think about that one, because there's always quite a few that are kind of whether they're new or have really decided to make a big push as to what's going on. There's definitely a few of them.
Right.
I know I like some of the stuff that the guy from Roots is doing.
Right.
And there's one that's just south of the valley. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he is producing some amazing fruit, and he's still just kind of getting out there. But he's all natural. He's using goats to service the land and stuff, and he's doing some pretty cool stuff.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I got to think of his name though.
Okay, that's fine. So, just to kind of, for me, one of them, there's multiples, and I'm like, oh, they're so good.
Right.
But I think one of the producers that have really caught my attention this year is Open Claim. They're out near Salem.
Yeah.
Winemaker is Tony Reinders. And it's an amazing experience when you go out there. You're one-on-one with a chef. There's only one tasting at a time. You're greeted with a glass of champagne. And you have a 4 or 5 course meal with a private chef.
And that's the tasting?
That's the tasting.
Yeah. That's one of the smartest ways to do it.
Yeah.
And when you do something like that, talking about creating the experience and making it memorable, that's what they're doing. Every time they're doing something that not many people are doing. It's the equivalent of when you used to go to Soder and they'd be walking out to the parking lot with a glass of bubbly before you're stepping out of your vehicle.
Right.
You remember that. You talk about it.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. I'll definitely have to make it down there.
Yeah. It is really, really nice.
And I love what Tony Reinders does.
Oh,
he's a great guy, and
yeah.
He does private label stuff for us as well. So amazing wines.
Yes, I totally agree. All right, on to the third wine. Actually, wow, I don't want to pour this out.
Oh,
how about if I set this over here and then
absolutely,
because that's quite something.
I do want to see how that kind of evolves in the glass.
Yes. Okay, so my second wine. I'm thinking about what wine it was. I'm like, ooh, what wine was this?
Did you forget?
Off the top, at this very second, yes, I did forget.
Ooh, this one's very different.
I remember which one. Yeah, I remember which one this is now. So,
wow. I love that nose.
Oh,
there's a little bit of that savory quality.
This is one of my favorite Chardonnays in the Valley. I mean, there's a lot of favorites, but this one is definitely in like the top 3 or top 5.
Wow.
And the winemaker is also the person that you sit down with the tasting. He does it all.
Wow.
I think I know he has 2 sons that help him out quite a bit. He used to work for a bigger producer. This is I'll say it's Dundee Hills fruit.
Okay.
And let me see, what else can I...
So you're almost leaning towards that with the story, the Beaufrere side of things, but
it's
not Dundee Hills.
This is not Beaufrere, I promise that. And I talked to somebody, we were talking to Oregon Chardonnay, and I told them I like this Chardonnay better than 00.
That's a big statement.
It is a big statement. But that's my personal preference, and everybody has different opinions and different likes and dislikes. And I enjoy the heck out of this one way more than I do 00.
That's full body. You get like a little bit of like chalk, tannin grip, little savory notes, got good fruit. I can see why you like this one.
Yeah. And I think why I like it is because you get all that fruit, all that savory, but it's lean. It not immediately do you get all that acid and you're like, whoosh.
Mm-hmm.
It's just lean. It's clear cut. I really enjoyed the heck out of this.
It almost reminds me of like a Walter Scott, but I don't believe they have two boys.
No. And I will say it's not Walter Scott.
Right. But it's right in that style of like Walter Scott or Big Table Farm or Flaneur, where you just want to keep going back for more.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just delicious. You could enjoy this by itself with some food.
Mm-hmm.
Huddled in the corner because you don't want to share it. Something.
Trying to think of other hints to give you. So I'll say that before the project that he's at, he was at Archery Summit.
Okay.
His vineyard is pretty darn close, to Archery Summit. There was a bunch of walnut trees on the property, that he, cleared out, but he has one big prominent one right in front of the winery / tasting room.
Okay.
And just the winemaker himself is an amazing guy. He likes to run, and during 2020 he built the winery by himself with the 2 kids, and his mom came out to the winery and kind of like took pictures and kind of not journaled, but I don't know, I can't think of a better word right now.
It's not white walnut, is it?
It is a white walnut. There you go.
That has been a winery I've been following, and we've poured some of their Pinots, and their labels are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I love what they do just on the side. It's a completely descriptive way to kind of paint the picture of what you're tasting. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love what Chris is doing with these wines, and holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, great choice.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I agree. That is a beautiful bottle of wine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a person in our group went and visited White Walnut, and he was like, oh my freaking goodness, you've got to go out and taste Chris's wines at White Walnut. He's like, they're extraordinary, they're amazing, like, go now.
Yeah, and he's definitely one of the places their Chardonnays are, I don't know which way I'm going to say this, their Pinots are just as good as their Chardonnays.
Yes.
And vice versa. The wines are sound all the way around, and they're just fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can't find something you like there, then
Oof.
Yeah, there's problems.
Yeah, no, I like like I said, what Chris is doing.
Yeah.
Well, good job.
Well,
You guessed it.
After enough hints, you know.
All right. So we're talking about Oregon Chardonnay, but I have to bring up Oregon Sparkling. It's just just speechless. I'm curious, like, where do you see Oregon Sparkling in like 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, Oregon Sparkling obviously is just pretty much exploded. And I guess that depends on how long Roland is going to stay in the neighborhood, because when everybody was making it, I know he was getting a lot of phone calls of, hey, got a question for you, or hey, can I pick your brain? And
Right.
he, still to this day makes one of my absolute favorites. The Rocco RMS is delicious. I see it definitely being, a mainstream piece on the list, because, when you're sharing a beautiful memory or an occasion, everybody loves the sound of that cork exiting the bottle.
Right. It's like, oh,
right. It's an attention grabber, and just a great way to put a kind of an exclamation point on whatever event is going on, or just a meal.
right. A Tuesday night meal. That's all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, there's so many producers making it, and a lot of them doing a really good job and doing them really well. So I just hope it keeps going. And, Oregon's such a collaborative state when it comes to the wineries and stuff. They just keep making each other better and better and better.
Yeah.
So if that's possible at times.
I think it's possible. And I've seen pictures of harvest, so far this year. Hazel Fern, they're going to do a sparkling. One of my favorite producers, Audient.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that they're going to do a sparkling. Maybe not. Maybe they didn't pick this year. I haven't got confirmation on that one yet.
I love his wines.
I almost thought about bringing you, the Chardonnay, but I was like, nope. I think he's probably tasted that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a great wine.
It is.
So.
And then Jessica West from Approachment / Harper Voigt. Mm-hmm. They're going to do their, sparkling for Approachment. And just so many people are like, yeah, we got to do sparkling.
I just know with like Oregon Sparklings and stuff, the price points are pretty high. Right. There's, I think, only a couple producers that I can think of that do kind of that friendly price point bottle. One being Tony Reinders doing the Child's Play right. Sparkling, and then Trisatum.
Yes.
They do a wonderful sparkling rosé that's usually a friendly price point. So
yeah, and kind of on that point, Radiant, so Andrew Davis, he definitely hit on something, creating Radiant, but like Benza out in the Hillsborough area, they're making sparkling now for multiple people. And then Brian Whale, opened up that new facility, and Kate Payne Brown is there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed that, the price point for Oregon Sparkling is going to come down a little bit, because it is expensive to produce.
Right.
But with it being easier and easier to produce and getting more people, I'm kind of hoping that price point comes down.
I think it will. After time, you've kind of got to, make some of the money back from all the equipment and, how long the whole process of making it
right
costs. But for some people, it's a labor of love, and they're like, forget the cost. I'm going to do it regardless. Yeah. So, that's what makes it fun.
Yes, I totally agree. All right. Here we go. All right. So this one is a little definitely younger than the previous one. You know, I have to feel sorry for the people listening to this via audio, and they're like, "What's all the dead silence for?"
Right? Don't they? Isn't there like some sort of aroma vision that they can?
I can't wait for that technology.
Right?
Yeah, it would be great.
What you got to be able to do is actually somehow brown bag a couple and get them to some followers so they can enjoy some live.
That would be great.
That would be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun. Something else I think would be fun would be doing something like this, you know, live and being able to pour, you know, for a few other people at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be a blast.
That would be a blast. Just the logistics of that. I'm like, oof. Wow. That is, that's not your typical Chardonnay.
No. The gentleman that makes this wine, he's kind of a one-man show.
Okay.
He's fantastic guy. He's hilarious. He is a chef as well.
Okay.
But he spends all his time making wine and enjoying life and such. So
right. Oh my goodness. That's I off the top of my head, I can't think of a one-man show winemaker that is a chef that spends all of his time making wine. What I really enjoy about this is just the complexity and the waves of different experiences you get on the mid palate and on the finish of this wine. I got to take another sip just so I can refresh my memory.
To me, it starts off with some of that fruit. When you get to that mid palate, it starts to show a little bit of that kind of that acid, that citrus note, and then it just kind of envelops the back of your tongue, and just
and it just keeps going on and on and on. And the acidity level on that is through the roof. So it easily has 10 to 15 years easy on it. And I would venture to say there's not much oak on this one, if I had to take just a guess.
I think he does use a little,
right?
But I'm not sure what his oak program is on this wine.
Yeah, no, I would have been shocked if you would have known.
Right, I think he uses a lot more neutral,
right,
than anything. So, but it's always been a wine that I've absolutely loved. Any guesses?
Oh. Give me like a hint of an AVA.
This one is appellated Dundee Hills and Willamette Valley.
Okay.
The winery's located kind of by Domaine Roy area.
Okay.
Kind of around the corner and up the street.
Taking a left or taking a right?
Which way are you coming from?
Out of the parking lot of Domaine Roy.
Right.
Oh. I'll just take, so I have to admit, I know next to nothing about Cameron. Next to nothing. Right? Oh.
It's not Cameron.
Okay.
But I'm a huge fan of everything JP does up there.
I've heard amazing things. Okay, so is the winery located on Warden Hill Road, or just like you come up to like a four-way stop and you kind of take a right and for about 2 or 3 more minutes.
You you take a right and go up the road a couple of minutes, and you're tasting in this gentleman's house.
Yeah, this is Mo.
Absolutely.
And okay, now here's the funny thing. I thought I had a Mo Chardonnay because I saw that you are a fan of Ayub, and I was like, oh crap. Yeah, no, it's a 2016. It's gorgeous. The wines that he makes, and I love Mo. So I was looking at what wines to bring, and I did notice that you're an Ayub fan, and the one bottle that I have that's not a Pinot, he calls a Blanc de Noir, and I'm like, that's not Chardonnay. Darn it!
So close.
So close, so close. But I think this is the first time I've had his Chardonnay.
Really?
Yeah.
I highly recommend going up there. You do have to make an appointment and such, but he's an amazing guy. He lives on the land that he's pulling from, and he sets out some cheeses. He pours you some wines, and the guy's got a great sense of humor, and he's just he was an engineer in California for the longest time, and he was going back and forth between winemaking and such. Yep. And he finally quit his job so he could have a job in the wine business. So it's fantastic. And I love his wines.
Yeah, no. And I've always been trying to get a bottle of his sparkling, and I haven't had that yet either. So it's definitely on my list.
I've had it a couple of times. My brother-in-law has shared it with me. So
that would be fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it looks like that, you've been to the French Laundry, and you've enjoyed that quite a bit. Have you been out to Okta in McMinnville?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
It's on my list.
Okay.
We'll definitely hit it. We did French Laundry years ago with a trip to Napa, and it just, happened to, all the stars aligned, and we were able to get in and everything. But Okta is definitely on my list of places to go. I've heard nothing but great things. I've seen a lot of beautiful pictures that people have taken that just make your mouth water. And
it is quite the experience. And the reason I brought it up, it was, I was curious, to compare the two side by side, because what I've heard, hearsay, is Okta is better.
Really?
That's what I've heard. I mean, and I've been to Okta twice, blown away both times.
Okay.
Ron, the sommelier there, oh my gosh, he takes amazing care of you, and he does a great job, and the wines are fabulous. One of the wines I had the last time I was there was, so that Walter Scott has an Ex Novo Chard. But Ex Novo also has their own label.
That's pretty new, isn't it?
It is pretty new. And so he poured that Chard for me. Oh my gosh. It's so good.
Yeah, Walter Scott's Ex Novo has always been one I've kind of coveted because it's just so good.
It is good. And I saw a screenshot today on Instagram of Jeb Dunnick's Oregon report, and there was a winery that got 100, and like within the top, I think like Walter Scott's Ex Novo got like a 98 or a 99.
Jeez.
And I think that was for the 21 vintage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I believe it.
Yeah.
Ex Novo's a beautiful bottle. It's also one of those that can age flawlessly, and we do have a 1.5 of it. It's probably from about 3 years ago that I'm not going to open for a while.
I've got a 1.5 and I got a 3 as well.
Yes.
Yes. I think the 3 is getting opened in about a year and a half for my 50th birthday.
Awesome.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, that's a special bottle of wine.
It is, but that'll be a special occasion. So
it will be. It will be. Um, so you in November of 21,
Yes.
you celebrated 10 years of marriage.
Yes.
And you like you look at Mo, you look at Hazel Fern, you look at Hundred Sons, and you see all these husband and wife teams working together, making amazing wine, but most importantly, they're not killing one another. You do the same thing with your wife. What do you think the secret ingredient is to not killing one another and working day in, day out?
Communication and the little words of, I'm sorry, honey. No, I'm kidding. No, it's just mutual respect
Right.
is the biggest thing. You never can lose that, because after that's gone, it's all downhill.
Right.
So respect, understanding, and every now and then you got to take a step back and quiet the noise and enjoy each other.
That's a
So,
good thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy each other. Go take a trip out to McMinnville, to Oakta, and
There you go.
yeah. Yeah.
Might have to make that happen.
I would not doubt that at all.
Right.
So when we were talking about setting this up, and I was out here for a Bledsoe McDaniel's tasting, amazing wines. Josh McDaniels is amazing. Drew Bledsoe is amazing. But you've been on their radar, it looks like, for a very long time. Do you remember, what was that nugget of oh, this is now on my radar and I got to check it out?
So obviously, Chris Figgins and Drew grew up together and were good friends
Right.
in Walla Walla. And so years ago, when Doubleback was just getting started, Doubleback, Gramercy, and Figgins, Leonetti at the time, did a tasting where they had a hotel suite downtown, and they invited select buyers, and you went down to this hotel, and they had the wine set out in various different stations, and you just kind of had a glass and you sat down and tasted the wines.
Right.
And I'll never forget my father, who's not big into sports, and was born in France, and football for them was soccer,
Of course.
and he had no idea who Drew Bledsoe was. And we're sitting there tasting the wines, and next thing you know, Drew sits down right next to me, and he's like, "Say, so what do you guys think of the wines?" And my dad starts describing, the wines. Oh, they're really nice. I like this and whatnot. And, we're talking about the wines, and he's telling us about them. Then about 10 minutes into the conversation, my dad leans in and goes, "And who are you?" And I looked at him. I'm like, "Well, this is Super Bowl winning quarterback Drew Bledsoe, and he also makes Doubleback."
Right.
And Drew's a very, humble guy, and
Yeah.
he just kind of introduced himself and kept talking about the wines, and the wines were really nice. And then, as they grew, and Josh and Drew, kind of grew together, and were creating these amazing wines. I mean, some of the stuff they're making, they're doing. They've got a small amount of Chenin Blanc on the Oregon property.
Oh, it's so good.
It is so good. It's just, to me, that's another kind of spice that they have in their cabinet when they do a winemaker's dinner to kind of add to the mix. And
Yeah.
we've just kind of followed them over the years and just loved what they've done. And for a while, we were glass pouring Doubleback and a few other things out at the airport and just having fun with it.
Yeah.
Drew would come by and he'd check in and say, "Hey, how's it going?" "Good." "Is everybody getting you taken care of?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're good." He goes, "Can you sign a couple bottles?" He's like, "Sure." Signed a few bottles and, went on his way. So
That's it. And it's amazing to have those connections and friendships. And he didn't need to come by and say, "Hey, how are things going?"
absolutely.
But he did.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's traveling, he's busy, he's who knows all the other projects he might have going on and whatnot, but he does take the time, and he cares about the project, and he's got a tasting room in Bend that's fantastic. He's got great people working for him, and
Yeah.
And it shows.
It does. Very
Yeah.
much so. All right. We got one more blind wine.
One more.
Holy cow. This has been fun.
Absolutely.
This looks a little bit younger, but 2016 for Mo's wine, I wouldn't have guessed a 2016.
That's the thing about his wines, and his wines just really hold.
Yeah, they do. So I even hate to even venture what this might be.
This one's more just for fun.
Okay.
Yeah, this is completely different from
The other two from Ponzi and...
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I like fun. Fun is always good. Mm.
Oh, that one definitely, that tannin and brightness in your mouth. This one wants a little bit of food, a little piece of cheese.
Yeah, that's... I call it just a racy, sharp backbone that is just... It's still like going a million miles a minute. And it's, a good solid 30, 45 seconds later, and it's still like saying, hi, how you doing? I know I haven't tasted this one ever. This is a unique Chardonnay. And yeah, I'm glad that you brought it out for fun. Oh, holy cow. I don't even know where to go with this.
This is definitely a younger wine. It's got fruit from a coastal vineyard site and two somewhat local vineyard sites. I don't know exactly which ones, but it's a family that is on second generation winemaker.
Okay.
Obviously very, very local, Willamette Valley.
Right.
One that we have a great partnership with.
Okay. Now I just need to look around the room and see what I can find.
Hey, that's like cheating. But I don't blame you. I'd do it too.
Yeah. I'm looking through, some of the bottles that you have. I mean, you have some amazing bottles. There's Grand Moraine, there's Highland, Domaine Divio, Cameron, yeah. La Source, Soder,
Yeah,
Irie.
we built this room just before COVID and took over some of our event space.
Right.
And then just as COVID hit, obviously you couldn't do any more events, so we had to kind of shut it down. And then during COVID, we actually took over more of this building and expanded our event space. And now we're doing all sorts of events, and anywhere from small weddings to parties, get together, after work events, and having a good time with it.
Yeah, no,
a sorority here last weekend doing a fundraiser, and
wow,
it's just a fun space to have.
It is. And last year you did, or earlier this year you did the Kentucky Derby kind of get together.
Yeah, it was our first ever Kentucky Derby party. We had a ton of wine, some great bourbons to share, doing some cocktails, We did some prizes and giveaways, and it was a lot of fun. It was a good party.
I can only imagine. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend.
Ugh. Next year.
Okay. All right. I'll be sure to put it down on my calendar.
Absolutely. All righty. Any guesses? Ready for the reveal?
I don't think it's anybody that I can see within this little range right here. I'm pretty sure of that.
Okay.
So yeah, go for it.
So this one is literally kind of hot off the presses. It's our brand new collaboration that we do with Lang.
That's an amazing little wine.
Yeah. We, started doing collaborations with Lang probably 4 or 5 years ago. And, we meet with Jesse and taste through barrels and stuff and try to put together a fun little blend. And he's always a big proponent of, it's about the wine, putting a good product in the bottle. And that's what he does. So,
yeah, no, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is very fun. Thank you for sharing this. This is, we're not seeing too many 22s right now.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Like I said, this is hot off the presses. So,
wow. Oh, yeah, that is amazing. So an Oregon coastal vineyard, I love those. They're so unique.
They are, and I think it adds a little different. They get a little bit more of that cold, coastal air without being protected from the mountains, and
right.
So it adds a little bit more dimension, and it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. Have you heard of Lonesome Rock?
I have. I've never had it though.
It's good.
Okay,
it's good. It's so Danny and his wife have been, especially Danny, has been in wine forever, but the owner of DuPont had a house and vineyard, about 10 minutes away from Carlton, more toward the coast. And again, a coastal type property, just right there on the edge of the AVA. Oh my gosh, I love his Pinot.
Really?
It is so good.
Okay. I have to write that one down.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely good. And Danny, what a guy. I mean, he's just an amazing guy. I went up to visit him, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to take a stroll around the vineyard?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course."
Right.
So he gets in the little green gator, and you could just see the excitement and the thrill just in his body language and in his voice, just going all through the vineyard.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
When he just exudes passion for what they're doing, it's phenomenal.
It is.
All it does is just show itself in the end result.
It does. It does. So going back to Josh McDaniels a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're aware of this, but I got to ask the question. Did you know that he started his first winery at 16?
I did.
So then my next question would be, what if one of your two girls came to you at the age of 16 and was like, "Hey, Dad, I want to start a winery"? What would you do?
I would tell them you better marry rich. That's one thing my dad always told me is if you wanted to make a small fortune in the wine industry, start with a large fortune.
Yeah.
I know that there's some that hit it out of the park right off the bat. But I know, over the years, I've watched a lot of wineries grow, and I know that there's a lot of struggles, and, you're wearing many hats, and you have a 2020 vintage that might decimate your entire year's work with smoke, or the birds come pick it off, and you're dealing with Mother Nature. So there's just so many factors that are almost out of your control. It's a miracle there's so many wineries out there.
It is a miracle. It's, I don't know how they do it, but they do it. And it's just, I love being on the sidelines and watching it all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every now and then it's fun to, jump in behind the scenes and help them out with crush or be on the sorting line or something simple that's not going to affect the end result.
Right.
That's above my pay grade.
Yeah, no, I don't want to mess anything up.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to do that.
So I ask, a lot of winemakers this question. What legacy do you want to leave for your two girls?
Wow, that's
and I have to tell you, the origin of this question came from when I interviewed Andy Lytle last year, and just the plan that he has for legacy just got me like thinking about legacy and all that good fun stuff. So I'm like, bringing it to everybody's attention.
A legacy. That's. I just want them to, be happy, well-adjusted, have the decisions that they want to make in life be their choices and not because they have to pay these bills or do anything like that.
Right.
I want them to be able to choose what they get to do in life. That's basically it.
Yeah, no, that is a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. Shall we revisit the Ponzi and then do some rapid fire questions and get you out of here?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Wow, this is going to be basically a jump back in time, going from the Lang that's super racy and steely and
to yeah. I feel like I need to go like 88 miles an hour or something and go 10 years back in time.
Right? That's exactly it. Where's Doc Brown when you need him?
Oh, that man can never die. He's got to stay alive forever.
Mm-hmm.
I could just smell this all day. If just sitting there working at the desk and just have a glass of this, swirl it, and like I would love that.
The vibrance of this just amazes me. Just amazes me. This is what I love about wine. It's end of August. For my birthday, I opened a 1975 Mouton Rothschild.
Oh my.
And it was, I don't know if it was stored properly. I obviously didn't own it from,
right.
I acquired
for 48 years. Yeah.
Right. But, the fill level was low. It wasn't looking good.
Right.
Pulled the cork and poured the wine, and it showed fruit. It showed life, acid, vibrant, and granted, it tasted like, its age.
Right.
But it wasn't over the hill. It was still a beautiful, and 75 was not a good vintage for Bordeaux standards by any means. But the wine over-delivered for my expectations of it, which was fantastic.
Wow.
It's fun to see.
That is fun. All right. So I got some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay, let's do it.
When you're in here kind of resorting, restocking the secret wine room, what artist, what music are you listening to?
Wow. What artist, what music? Probably Dire Straits.
Ooh, Money for Nothing and yeah,
Yeah.
that would be good.
More Lady Rider. It's a great song.
Okay. Your favorite indulgent food?
Escargot.
Oh, I can't get somebody else to try it with me. I want to try it so bad.
It's one of those that we made as a kid. So
Okay, I understand. That makes sense.
yeah.
If you could choose a superpower, what would it be?
Probably to fly.
Okay. Yeah. And, normally I ask harvest notes whether digital or written, but you don't do harvest notes.
Right.
So the last book you read, it could even be like a podcast, or it could be something on Audible, or.
The last book I read was probably a Stephen King or a Michael Crichton book. I'm always a big fan of those style.
Yeah, no, I can understand.
Yeah, or it could have been a mobster book as well. Those are always fun.
Those are always fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you want, if you have any questions for me, I'll gladly answer. I'll put you on the spot for quite some time.
Okay. If you could interview anybody in the wine industry, what winery would it be?
What winery would it be?
Yeah, like from what winery, anywhere in the world.
Well, so my first answer, and I kind of hope I can accomplish this next year. It's not a winery, but I want to interview Jason Wise, the Psalm movie series guy. But winery, and so I'm also trying to set up an interview with Carlo Mondavi. That would be fun. Oh my gosh, that is so difficult.
That is like picking a needle out of the haystack.
It is. There's so many possibilities. Man. I have to go with an answer that is impossible.
Right, because you have the opportunity to take your choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I think right now my answer would be David Lett.
Ah. Yeah, that would be a fantastic one.
That would be a fantastic one.
So outside of the U.S., what is your favorite wine region?
Champagne.
Oh, okay.
That's
second favorite?
Oh boy, second favorite. Chateau de Pop is great. Burgundy is great. Holy cow! All the wine regions in Italy. I mean, good gosh, how am I supposed to pick just one?
Well, it doesn't mean you have to alienate the rest. It's just,
I know.
If you were to be teleported to one to sit down and have lunch and a glass of wine.
I think if I had to write this second, it'd probably be Amarone.
Oh, awesome. Those are very underrated and I think under-enjoyed wines. Yeah. All the process, the work that they go through, and they make these just fruit-forward wines that have so much character and body and so much fun.
So much fun. On that regard, I know nobody here in Oregon would go through that much painstaking process, but I would love to, if I had the ability and the finances, take that Amarone process, apply it to Pinot Noir. I would love to see what would happen.
Well, they're always playing with different styles and now using the big clay amphoras and you never know. I would love to see that. The character and style that adds is pretty crazy.
It is
concentration.
Crazy. Yep.
What superpower would you choose?
Talking to animals.
Talking to animals. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
You've thought about that one.
Well, so that just recently came to me the other day. I was watching an anime with my daughter, and one of the characters can speak to animals. And I'm like, I think that'd be pretty darn cool.
It would be.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to be able to talk to my dog. Right?
My wife always wants a bubble to appear above our dog so we know what she's thinking.
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah. That would be great.
Unless, you just discipline them or something and they're talking bad about you.
And all you see is a bunch of, symbols in that bubble. They're like,
that would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Okay.
All right.
I think that's all the questions I had.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. This has been a blast.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun.
Yes.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you again.
Absolutely.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for joining me on this flavorful voyage through the world of wine on the Wine Notes podcast. I've been your host and guide, AJ Weinzettel, and it's been an absolute pleasure sharing these captivating stories with you. But alas, like the last sip of a fine vintage, our time together must end. But don't fret, my wine-loving friend. The cellar doors of the Wine Notes podcast will always remain open, waiting for you to return and explore new conversations, stories, and musings from the captivating people behind the magical world of wine. Before you go, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and don't forget to leave a sparkling 5-star review to help spread the word. Until our glasses clink again, remember to savor life's moments and let the spirit of wine and camaraderie linger on your palate. Cheers, and as always, may your wine glass be full, your heart be light, and your journey be delightful.